So I am here to do my video today, and this topic is going to be on, if you haven't already guessed it by the name up above, teen pregnancy. My story, what it was really like, and just kind of some advice, I guess, for girls that are in the same position or women that were in that position and are where I am now. Really, where I wanted to start was, of course, just telling you about my story. So I was 15 years old when I found out I was pregnant. It was in December of 2006, and I was a sophomore in high school. And it was pretty crazy. I really didn't believe it, and I thought it was just a joke. This couldn't be happening to me. How is this possible? All of those things. And of course, I wasn't taking any necessary steps to be safe, but I just really never thought it would happen to me. And it was with my boyfriend at the time and my now husband. And when I think back on it, my parents were very, very disappointed, as you can imagine. My mom actually cried when I told her. I think she cried more out of feeling scared for me than she did being angry with me. But there was a period of time where she was really angry with me, and she did say a lot of hurtful things. But looking back now, I kind of understand where she's coming from. But it was really hard. I was kicked out when I was 15 years old, and I wasn't allowed to live in my house anymore, so I had to live with my, at the time, boyfriend, my now husband, and it was really scary. I still continued to go to school for a while, and then pretty soon I couldn't do that anymore because of my morning sickness and just not feeling well. I was missing so much school, and then I was the state, for those that are on what we call the Becca bill here in the state that I live in, where you're just not allowed to miss so many days without going to court and having fines and having to go to like special classes. And so I actually was required to go to classes at the juvenile correction center, like a different part of it, every single day and check in. And I also had phone check-ins, which was basically house arrest without the little thing on your ankle is what it was. So that was pretty crazy, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I waited until I was 16, and then I got my GED and I quit going to school. I think that's one of my biggest regrets, was quitting high school, not for the simple fact that I wanted to do all the partying and continue to be a teenager, but for the education purpose of it. Kind of disappointed I didn't get to do that. So when I had my son, I was 16 years old, and I was in labor for about 8 hours, maybe a little less. It didn't take me a long time. It wasn't a painful birth for me, but it was very emotional. So that was really hard. I will say, though, that it was not easy. I lost a lot of my friends when I found out I was pregnant. And then after I had my son, I lost a lot more. And really, I was just focused on my son and being home and being a mom and on my relationship. And I really want to point out that it's not easy. It's not, honestly, it's not anything like you see on Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant, where there's ups and downs, good and bads, and then in the end it's all happy, joy, everyone lives happily ever after and they're getting their shit together. That's not what it is at all, and I don't want people to think that way. There are some people that are very lucky, that are very blessed, they have it very easy, or they get to do whatever they want and go out there and have fun still and not have to take responsibility for their child. But there are those, that do well and last in their relationships and become good parents and make something of themselves. So I guess the reason why I wanted to make this video was to just let people know that if you're not in this position now and you think this could happen to you, stop. Think about it for a second and just protect yourself. Don't put yourself in that position, because it is a lot of heartache and it's hard. And even if you find somebody who's going to stay with you and love you and marry you and help you take care of your child or still a struggle. So to tell you, like, my story is that, like I said, I was 16, I had my son, and I am still with his father, and we have one other child, which is my daughter. And it was hard, and we went through a lot, and we weren't this perfect, happy, nothing ever went wrong couple. I think having a child was hard for both of us. We were both young. He is 2 years older than me, but we were both young. We didn't know what we were doing. We both still wanted to have fun, be with our friends, party. All of the things that we did before, we still wanted to do. And I think for my husband especially, he was a guy, and there's less ties, I think, to children than there is with a mother and a child, where the mother feels that she consistently needs to be with them, and she has to be, and there's just no other way around it, whereas a guy just needs to kind of be there and sometimes be around them, and they don't really get it through their head. And then usually when you have the baby, they like freak out and like want to like split like ASAP, like they're there the whole pregnancy, and then the first like 3 months crazy stuff happens. Yeah, that's true, by the way, for most. And if it's not you are very lucky. But it happens, and sometimes whatever happens in those times and those fights and those splits and everything like that, you can't mend it back together, and you are a broken family, and you won't ever be able to regain that back. That's not true for everybody, but it can happen. And that's the scary part about teen pregnancy, is that you are so young, you're still growing, you're still maturing, you're still growing up. I am 23 years old, and I still don't know what the heck I'm doing. I mean, luckily, I had a great support system. My dad supported me through everything, no matter what. He took me to all my doctor's appointments. He bought anything I couldn't afford or we couldn't afford. He did a lot for me, and I'm really, really grateful, and I appreciate it so much. But had I not had him, I honestly don't know what I would have done. I still don't know what I would do now if I didn't have him, or the support that I have, or my husband around. I think being a single mother is really scary, and I definitely salute those who do it and can make it through and have good children and put their children first. I think that's a really hard way to go about it, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but I know that there are good, strong women out there that take it, and they make the most amazingest children that grow up into these amazing young men and women. And I think that the stereotype that if you're a single, like a teen mom, you're going to end up single and on welfare. My son is now 7 years old, so I've been a mom for a while. I've learned that every choice that I make has to be with my son and daughter in mind. So I think about everything, and I think, well, if I did this and they knew, would they be proud? Would they not be? Would they be, proud to say that I'm their mom, or would they be, embarrassed, or what would happen? I also think that a big thing is to make sure that you're not doing anything crazy or dangerous, and that you have to give that up if that's what you were doing before. And of course, that's a whole other topic to not even get into, but it is definitely something that you have to think about. And so I think where I wanted to go with this was really just telling you guys my story and saying, if you're not in that position, don't put yourself in that position. If you are now, and you're, I don't know, anywhere from 13 to 17, 18, that's still considered a teen, and you're pregnant and you're scared and you don't know what to do, just think about yourself, absolutely, but think about your child. Think about where in 10 years you want your child and you to be. And if you think you can do that, then, push for it. If you have a chemical dependency, a substance abuse problem, or some type of illness that won't allow you to be a proper parent for the child, always explore your options. Indefinitely explore your options, but don't ever think that you just can't do it because you're young. Should you choose to get pregnant at a young age? No. If I could go back and change things, I don't think that I would in this. And I think that that's really important that people understand, is that it is scary and it is bad, But, if you're in that position, deal with it the best way possible, but think about your child first. Think about what you can offer them and where you can put yourself in 10 years and whether or not you can be a good role model and a good person to raise them. I also think that it shouldn't necessarily mean that your life is over and that you're not doomed and you haven't done the worst thing in the whole world. You could have done a lot worse, and that you can pick yourself up from it and you can learn from it and you can raise a wonderful child. And so I just want this video to be there to let people know that there are people in your position and they know what you're going through and they understand. And there will be those people that will point fingers and say, oh my God, she's such a horrible person. I can't believe she had a baby. That's so stupid, or blah, blah, blah. And all these things they're going to say. She's so young. Oh my gosh, she's a slut, or this and that. All the things that I've ever heard. And you just can't listen to it. And all you can do is listen to yourself and the ones closest to you, as long as it's positive, and try to be a good parent. I definitely think I'll make a part 2 to this video, but for now, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. And if you liked the video, please click the thumbs up down below, subscribe, let me know what you thought. If you are in that position right now, thinking about that you may be in that position or you've ever been, definitely leave your feedback. I want to know what other people are thinking and how they feel, and I will be making a part 2 to this video pretty soon. So that's it for now. Have a good night, guys, and I will talk to you soon.